Here, there's another little tidbit I want to share with you guys about driving behind a truck, especially a dump truck. The guy in front of me, he has, I believe by law, they're supposed to cover the top of the truck, and that's to keep things from flying out of the truck in the high speed and, coming into my windshield, right? You don't want to be near that truck like this guy's doing. Very risky, getting close, but again, he sees the open hole, and you gotta use that, right? So that's what they're doing, but that's it's not a very good idea, because things can fly off a truck. As a matter of fact, the other day I was driving, and there was I guess you call it, it's like a construction truck. One of those trucks that handymen use, like it's called a box truck, I believe, a box truck. And the door of the truck was in the back, like two double doors, like you would have in a house, but it was falling apart. And they had a piece of wood, a 2x4, going across it, so that it would stay shut. Okay, so it's really just it's holding the door shut together like that, and very precarious. But that wasn't the issue. The issue that the truck looked like it was going to fall apart if it wasn't for this 2x4 there. The issue was that these guys obviously used the truck to put things on top of while they're working. They probably used the truck as a scaffold to get up high, to do a second floor or something, to get up high and to do some type of work. Well, of course, as life would have it, and I guess in Florida, I have to slap Floridians a little bit, because you guys here in Florida, you just have some serious problems, cognitive issues, okay? And guess what these guys did? They, of course, left the job site. They in their car, in their truck, nice and happy, getting on. Of course, they got on the road in front of me, very, serendipitously, just get in front, and not that there was particularly enough room for that, but they jammed themselves in. As a matter of fact, it was right here. Right here, the other day, they got on the road, and they just get right in front of me, right here, just right here. So a little ways up front, I'm driving again. I'm not driving up on their butt like other people like to do. But from one moment to the next, all of a sudden, I think that you call it a hoe or something like that. It's that flat, a stick, like a broomstick with a flat metal piece at the end of it. I think it's a hoe or something like that. Came flying off the top of the truck. My goodness, here we are going 50, 60 miles per hour, right in the front in this section here coming up. And, I had traffic on either side. It was a harrowing experience. I had a little dodge this thing because you didn't know how it was going to fall. It took flight, and it was like, wiggling in the air. And you're trying to figure out where is it going to drop, how it's going to hit. I started to hit the brakes. I got traffic behind me, traffic to the right, traffic to the left. I couldn't get to the other lane, and I was hoping that it would drop down and that I could, in a way that I can just pass it or go over it. Simply, the only thing that saved me from getting hit with that hole was that I wasn't up on his butt. And that's, I think, the number one thing that you have to learn, especially when you're behind a truck, behind someone even a car that has something on the roof that they're carrying it, or a trailer. Do not ever get on his butt. Don't do it. Give yourself the appropriate space for the speed. Now, I'm going 54 right now in this section. And I'm more than 5 car lengths from the guy in front of me. This is where you want to stay almost all the time. Just stay away. Give it an extra padding. It's not an issue of you stopping. It's an issue of you having options if things happen in front of you. Not every time are you going to be able to stop, but you need maneuvering space. You need space to respond to things that happen at a moment's notice. Now, this guy in front of me is carrying something on his roof. You see that? He has something on the roof. I'm sure it's tied down right and all that, but you never know. These things can break out. Something can break loose from there, and then you need enough time to swerve or to stop, whatever it is, change lanes, but you need thinking time. And if you're a person that doesn't think really quick to find a solution, the larger the space, the gap between you and the guy in front of you should be. Absolutely. So take that with you. That's the advice today. You see how this truck just swerved in and out. Again, the truck drivers, they have their reasons for doing it. I drive a truck myself, so I understand there are certain issues with driving a truck. It's different than a car. Trucks, buses, any large vehicle, you need to give them space. Their visibility on the sides is limited, so they don't necessarily see you, and they may have an issue they have to adjust for, and simply a dummy rushing and swerving in and out of lanes is a danger, and it's going to cause a problem, especially when there's a truck on the road, because the truck does not necessarily catch you coming in and out when they're having an issue in their cabin. So again, you have to be aware of that, and a lot of truck drivers using GPSs as well. And you know how these GPSs are. This GPS that I use sometimes swerves itself. It goes like the opposite direction, because it doesn't, something with the satellite or transitioning from one satellite to the other, it doesn't know at a certain moment which direction I'm heading in. So things can change, especially like that truck driver. He needed to go out that exit, but he wasn't too sure, right? So it causes that little hesitation, and you speeding, you may get into a lot of trouble one of those days. A lot of you guys get through it. A lot of you guys go day in and day out, but one day, it just takes one day, right, to put you in a wheelchair, if not kill you permanently, right? So think about that and be careful on the road. Take care.